Hi, nice to meet you. And for me, it's an honor. And I wanted to ask you if you can dedicate to us a great Scott remaining in the ambit of Back to Future.
Does she want him to say Great Scott?
I think she did. I think that's what she's saying. And she's from France.
She's from France and she wants you to do a really good Great Scott.
Great Scott! My name is Christopher Lloyd, and I just sort of eased into it. I don't know what I found. I guess early on I felt that I was able to communicate when acting, which I didn't seem to do too well off stage. So I would just go to places where I could watch acting and maybe be involved in some way. I apprenticed for 3 years in summer stock theater, building sets and cleaning the theater after a performance, setting up lights, doing all that stuff. And then I went to New York to drama school in New York, and eventually things began to happen.
Can you tell the kids, because you are from the East Coast. What
Right.
interested you in acting? Was there a particular actor you looked up to when you were younger?
No, like I say, I in school, at high school level, I'd be occasionally asked to be in a play for the drama at the high school. And that happened a few times. And I kind of got my feet wet, so to speak, being in high school plays or a musical. And I applied to an acting teacher in New York, Sandy Meisner, to go to the neighborhood Playhouse School of the Theater, which I eventually did. But it was just sort of an urge. Getting up on stage kind of terrified me, but I was determined to there. And gradually, I began to recognize that I wanted to make acting my career, and it just kept on going.
So one of the people that I read that you studied under was a man by the name of Sanford Meisner, who you studied under. So he had talked about acting in the moment. Can you talk a little bit about that acting technique?
Yes. Well, Meisner would start with a very basic exercise. Say 2 acting students would sit across from each other at a table or in chairs, and you have a phrase. Maybe the phrase is, "I like apples." And you'd I'd say it, then my partner would say it. It would go back and forth, and you'd have to listen very carefully to your partner saying what they were saying, because it would the inflection would change, the emphasis would change of itself, and you'd have to pick that up and let it affect the way you responded. Am I making that clear?
Yes.
Is that
Yes.
confusing? And which was kind of the root of what you do depends on what the other person does. So you're always connected, and a lot of life comes out of that. If you do it really strictly, and then from that we'd start doing scenes with that same principle of mind of focusing on your partner, and it would kind of build on that. I had a lot of trouble before going to Meisner. One night, if I was in a play, one night I'd be great, you know. I just felt involved, and the audience was involved. And then the next night, I'd be wallowing. You know, I couldn't get a grasp of what I was trying to do. I had no connection. So Meisner's technique really made you connect with the person you're acting with.
Out of all of the actors that you've worked with, who is the most memorable out of all the people you've ever worked with?
Of all the, you know, I mean, not as a student necessarily, but in
professionally, in your career.
Yeah.
In your career.
Well, there's
What did he say?
Danny DeVito from Taxi, Jack Nicholson, of course. I did a couple of films with him, and I'm terrible with names, but many actors and directors. Michael Douglas, Milos Forman, Bob Zemeckis, great director of the Back to the Futures trilogy.
Who directed My Favorite Martian?
Who?
My Favorite Martian.
Oh, My Favorite Martian. Did that film. Yeah.
Would you mind if can the students ask you some questions?
No, not at all.
Okay, we have Mev in Italy. Mev, you have to speak nice and loud, please.
Hi, Christopher. Nice to meet you.
Ciao, Mev. Buongiorno.
Hi. I was wondering, what scene did you most enjoy doing, and which one would you have liked to skip on your career?
Which scene was your favorite doing, and which one would you rather have not done in your career?
Well, I did one film that I kind of wish I could go back and redo it and do something, you know, where I just felt my acting was so bad, and it was a comedy, and I just it wasn't good. It embarrassed me to see it. But on the other side of the,
what film was it?
I don't remember the film, damn it. And then, then I did a film. My first legit film was One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Great. Have you seen it?
I have. Thumbs up. Any students who've seen it? I don't know. It's an older film. I know a lot of people on here have seen the Addams Family and all the Back to the Futures. I think I'm the only one with One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, but definitely a phenomenal movie. Matteo, and Matteo, I believe, is in Italy as well. Matteo, you had a really interesting question. I know you're interested in professionally pursuing a career in acting.
Yes, hi, first of all, nice to meet you. I'm really honored to meet you. And I would like to become an actor like you, there in the United States. And I wanted to know if you can give me some advice to begin.
I would say, for one thing, however you can get up on stage, you need to do that. Check, where do you live?
Italy, honey.
Italy.
Where wants to come to the United States?
Wherever there are theaters, workshops, acting workshops, theater workshops, find them out, find where they are, and go to them and try to get involved.
Needs to get to LA,
even if it's not just strictly acting, if it's like helping out or assisting, be involved in the theater wherever the opportunity comes up, even if it's, you know, doesn't pay well or it's inconvenient, because you get the experience, and the more you're around and seeing and doing things at various theaters, you become kind of familiar, and people ask you, look for you to help them out, be in their production. Yeah, just go for every opportunity there is to get up and act. And of course, classes, acting classes, if you're inclined to go there. That would be my advice. Just go wherever you can go to do what you want to do, and hopefully that will build.
One of our students in France wants to know, did you always want to be an actor, or did you want to do something else and then you decided on acting?
It was really acting from the get-go. I didn't have any, I didn't have an ambition, or it was anything else that I felt I could do, or that excited me.
So obviously you're very close with Michael J. Fox. Could you talk to the kids a little bit about the Michael J. Fox Foundation? I know that you've done some events about Parkinson's research, and some of our kids are also learning about philanthropy. So could you talk to us a little bit about his foundation?
Well, Michael, has his foundation, Michael J. Fox Foundation, and I've been involved to an extent, along with my wife Lisa, in participating in events that the foundation
Every year
has.
there's a big gala called the Funny Thing.
Yeah, every year there's a big gala.
Called the Funny Thing Happened on the Way to Cure Parkinson's.
Yeah, and they raise funding for research to find a cure for Parkinson's.
And they have a poker game every year too.
Yes, and they have a poker game every year. It's in some big hall in New York to raise funding for the foundation.
This year.
So we have a question from Alvaro, and we'll only keep you guys a couple more minutes and then we'll let you go. I want to first of all say thank you to Chris, and thank you to his wonderful wife, Lisa, for helping set this up for all of you students around the world. Alvaro, I'm unmuting you. You had an awesome question. I was wondering this myself. Can you say your question nice and loud for Chris?
Okay, yes. Hello, Chris. Nice to meet you. It's a honor. Well, my question was, I love your films of Back to the Future. Mm-hmm. And my question was, how was your experience acting for that films?
Oh, it was very exciting. I just felt that Doc Brown, he's a discoverer. He thinks up things that he's always trying to solve a problem of one sort or another. His mind is constantly, he's got that hat that he puts on to help him think, even though it's not, doesn't work. Doc is full of excitement, and traveling through space, and the flux capacitor that he discovers when he hits his head on the falls and hits his head on the edge of the toilet. That's his passion, to discover. And I love that. I have it in myself, although I'm not a scientist, and I don't discover anything, but I love that feeling of, it's like sometimes I read a script, and the first reading I don't get it. I don't quite understand the part, or I don't understand the play or whatever. And then I read it 2 or 3 times, and suddenly I discover things. I discover, ooh, he's doing this at this moment. that explains why he's doing something like that in that moment. And it's like bringing the dots together and forming a character. And I love that aspect of it.
So would you be able to, because not all the students here are going to go into acting, they're studying it. Whatever they want to do in their lives, what kind of advice would you give to these students as they go off into the world to discover what they want to do with their lives?
Kind of, it's like when I started out acting, I didn't really think I'm going to be an actor. It's just that I found I would get on stage here and there, do a play, and then I seem to have a bit of a knack at it. So I guess I would say, kind of follow your heart. What is it you see out there in the world you live in that attracts your attention? Where you feel you have something to offer in that area.